Sofia stands in the dim backstage corridor, where the soft hum of the stage machinery blends with the muffled cheers of the audience outside. She holds her microphone close to her chest, gripping it so tightly that her small knuckles turn pale. The excitement around her feels like a storm, crew members rushing by with headsets, assistants adjusting lights, and other contestants whispering their last-minute prayers, but Sofia is in her own quiet world. Her small feet shuffle nervously on the polished floor, the soles of her shoes making faint squeaks that only she notices. Her mother kneels in front of her, gently fixing a stray strand of hair behind her ear. There is warmth in her mother's eyes, the kind that comforts but also carries silent hope. She cups Sofia's cheeks with both hands and whispers reassuring words, reminding her that this is her moment, the one she has worked so hard for. The curtain beside them sways slightly every time the stage door opens, revealing flashes of hard white light and the booming voice of the host hyping up the audience. Sofia takes a deep breath and leans her head against her mother's shoulder, feeling the familiar heartbeat that has always calmed her down before every performance. Her tiny chest rises and falls with slow inhalations as she tries to steady herself, silently repeating the lyrics of the song she has practiced for days. The stage manager approaches with a gentle smile and signals that it is almost time. Sofia's heartbeat quickens. Her mother squeezes her hands and whispers a final reminder to simply sing with her heart, no matter what happens. Sofia closes her eyes for a moment, blocking out the chaos and noise around her. She imagines herself on stage, under the warm lights, singing freely without fear. When she opens them again, there is a spark of determination in her gaze. She adjusts her grip on the microphone, straightens her shoulders, and takes the smallest step forward toward the glowing curtain. The distant applause from the audience grows louder, and as the stage assistant calls her name softly, Sofia breathes one last steadying breath and prepares to walk into the spotlight that waits for her. As Sofia steps through the curtain, the atmosphere instantly shifts. The stage is dim, drenched in hues of deep blue and violet, with a single white spotlight waiting patiently at the center. The moment her foot touches the polished floor, the crowd quiets as if sensing something delicate and important is about to unfold. She walks slowly toward the center of the stage, each step echoing softly, her small silhouette framed beautifully by the soft glow behind her. The coaches sit in complete darkness, their chairs turned away, giving the moment an air of mystery and anticipation. All Sofia sees are outlines and shadows, but she can feel their presence, their attention, their unspoken expectations hanging thick in the air. The gentle instrumental introduction of Ako Naman Muna begins to play, the piano keys rising like gentle ripples, setting the tone for her performance. Sofia lifts the microphone to her lips, her hands trembling slightly, but she steadies herself with a quiet inhale. The camera zooms in on her face, capturing every detail, her nervous swallow, her parted lips, and the flicker of determination in her eyes. She closes her eyes for half a second, allowing the melody to settle into her spirit, and then releases her first note. The sound that leaves her is pure, fragile yet strong, floating gracefully across the silent studio. Her voice resonates with an emotional softness that immediately draws the audience in. The lighting above her sharpens, illuminating her like a young star discovering its own brilliance. The crowd leans forward in their seats, some already whispering in awe, struck by how unexpectedly powerful her tone is for someone so young. As she continues the first verse, her voice becomes more confident, flowing with natural vibrato and delicate phrasing that sends chills through the room. One of the judges lifts their head slightly, reacting to her tone even though they cannot see her yet. Sofia keeps her gaze forward, her focus unbroken. Every word seems to come not just from her mouth, but from her heart, carrying the weight of her emotions in every breath. The stage lights dance softly across her features as she sings, transforming her from a nervous child into a young artist owning her moment with grace and quiet power. As Sofia reaches the middle part of the song, something magical begins to unfold. Her voice, steady yet overflowing with emotion, rises with a gentle power that fills every corner of the studio. The audience, who had been holding on to every note, begins to feel a shift, an electric anticipation that often precedes something extraordinary. One of the judges, leaning slightly forward in their chair, tilts their head as if trying to understand how such a voice could belong to someone so young. They close their eyes for a moment, listening intently, letting Sofia's tone settle deep into their chest. Then, in the span of a single breath, Sofia transitions into a soft, emotional run that glides effortlessly through the melody. It is fragile, beautiful, and pure, something that doesn't need perfection to be powerful. The judge's hand twitches toward the button, hesitating only for a heartbeat. The crowd senses it and gasps softly. Sofia, unaware of what's happening behind her, keeps singing with the same sincerity, her voice trembling slightly but never breaking. Her eyes glisten under the stage lights, and she holds the microphone close as she leans into the emotion of the lyrics. A split second later, the judge slams the button with certainty. The signature thunk echoes across the studio, followed by the bright explosion of red lights that shoot upward from the base of the chair. The chair spins around dramatically, facing Sofia for the first time. The audience erupts into cheers, filling the room with energy, while Sofia's eyes widen in surprise. She almost falters for half a second, but she catches herself and continues singing, the hint of a nervous, joyful smile appearing on her face. The judge who turned watches her with softened eyes, visibly moved by the authenticity in her voice. They rest their hands on the armrests, leaning forward as if trying to absorb every ounce of the moment. The other coaches, though still turned away, react to the sudden excitement, their expressions curious and alert. Sofia stands a little taller, the spark of confidence now glowing inside her. The atmosphere shifts again, from uncertainty to possibility. The first chair has turned, and the journey has officially begun. As Sofia moves deeper into the heart of the song, her voice begins to bloom with a strength that seems far beyond her age. The earlier nervous tremble has vanished, now she sings with a glowing confidence, her tone clear and emotionally charged. Every lyric falls with meaning, shaping the room into a quiet, sacred space where only her voice matters. The audience watches breathlessly. Some place their hands over their mouths, others lean forward in anticipation, sensing that something even bigger is coming. The judges who haven't turned yet exchange subtle glances, their faces tightening as they recognize the rare talent unfolding on stage. Then it happens, Sofia reaches a powerful line, delivering it with raw emotion that sends a sharp wave through the studio. One judge reacts instantly, hitting the button with a quick, decisive motion. Their chair spins around, lights flashing upward like a burst of fire. The audience cheers louder, the excitement building visibly. Sofia sees the second chair turn, and her smile widens just a little, her courage growing with every reaction. Without missing a beat, she pours even more heart into the next note, pushing her voice with honesty rather than force. A moment later, another judge hits their button. The third chair swings around with bright red lights, and the audience screams in delight, waving their arms as the build-up continues. The energy becomes electric, soaring, alive. Sofia hits a breathtaking high note, her voice ringing with a purity that cuts straight through the noise. The judges who have already turned look at each other, impressed and almost emotional, recognizing that they are witnessing something special. Finally, the last judge can't hold back anymore. With a broad smile, they slam the button with full force. The fourth chair spins around, completing the moment every young artist dreams of. All four chairs now face her, lights glowing triumphantly. The audience rises to their feet, clapping, shouting, some even tearing up at the overwhelming moment. For Sofia, the world seems to slow down. She sees all four coaches looking at her with admiration, encouragement, and hope. In that instant, she becomes more than just a contestant, she becomes a young star standing in her own spotlight, earning the ultimate sign of respect, a full, glorious four-chair turn. As the music swells toward its emotional peak, the stage lighting shifts into a warm golden glow that wraps around Sofia like a gentle embrace. She stands in the center, her posture steady, her small hands gripping the microphone with a quiet certainty she didn't have when she first walked out. The earlier rush of shock and excitement has settled into something deeper, calm, pure confidence. Her eyes glisten under the lights, reflecting the emotion of the lyrics as she pours her heart into every word. Each note floats effortlessly through the air, rich with sincerity, making the room feel both vast and intimate at the same time. The entire studio seems to pause for her. The audience, once cheering loudly after the four-chair turn, has become completely silent again, not out of tension, but out of awe. People sit frozen in their seats, eyes fixed on the stage, afraid to even breathe too loudly in fear of breaking the fragile beauty of the moment. Even the youngest viewers in the crowd grow still, mesmerized by the soft, aching emotion coming from a girl so small yet singing with such maturity. The judges, now all turned and fully facing her, sit forward with hands clasped in front of them. One judge places a hand over their heart, visibly fighting back tears. Another gently nods along with her phrasing, struck by the honesty in her tone. They watch her not as coaches evaluating a contestant, but as listeners moved by the raw truth in her voice. Their expressions soften, their eyes shining under the stage lights, their admiration growing with each passing second. As Sofia approaches the final line, she closes her eyes briefly, gathering every feeling inside her chest. When she releases the last note, it emerges delicate yet powerful, trembling with emotion but never losing control. The note lingers in the air like a final exhale, a whisper, a plea, a promise all at once. When the music fades, the silence that follows is profound. It is the kind of silence that only comes after a performance that touches the soul. Sofia slowly lowers her microphone, her breathing soft and steady, her face glowing with the realization that she has given everything she has. And for a heartbeat, the whole room exists only in that moment of stillness and wonder. As the final note fades into the air, the silence in the studio breaks into an eruption of applause. The audience rises to their feet, cheering loudly, some waving their hands, others shouting her name. Sofia stands at center stage, breathing softly, still catching her breath after pouring her entire heart into the performance. A shy smile forms on her face as she looks around, overwhelmed by the sudden wave of love and appreciation surrounding her. The lights warm and brighten, illuminating her small figure like a young star glowing in the middle of the vast stage. The judges waste no time. One of them leans forward eagerly, their voice filled with excitement, praising her control, her emotion, and the purity of her tone. They tell her she doesn't just sing the song, she lives it. Sofia blushes, lowering her gaze for a moment, unsure how to respond to such unexpected praise. Another coach jumps in before she can even speak, passionately arguing that her voice carries a rare honesty, something that can't be taught. They insist that with the right guidance, she could become one of the country's brightest young artists. The third coach rests a hand on their chest, still visibly moved by her earlier notes. They tell her they felt chills from the very first line and confess they had tears in their eyes during the climax. Their tone is gentle but sincere, speaking as though they've discovered something precious that they don't want to let slip away. The fourth coach laughs softly, shaking their head in disbelief, marveling at how someone so young can perform with such maturity. They lean closer, telling Sofia that she belongs on their team, not because she needs help, but because she deserves the best support to grow her gift. The coaches begin talking over one another, each insisting that they're the right choice for her. They make promises, offer guidance, share visions of her future, each trying harder than the last to win her trust. The audience cheers loudly after every pitch, adding to the playful chaos. Sofia stands there, hands clasped in front of her, her smile growing wider. She feels nervous but deeply honored, amazed that all four chairs turned for her and now all four coaches are fighting to have her. In this moment, she is no longer just a little girl singing backstage, she is the star everyone wants, the young artist who just captured the hearts of an entire nation.